Okay, so today, for today's agenda, we're going to be doing, we're going to be reacting to the live stream VOD that Kings Island Entertainment just did a couple hours ago. So we're just going to watch all the way through it, just going to do a reaction. I'm probably going to skip through, cut out some parts that are a little more redundant, but from the looks of things, there is quite a bit to go over. I've already seen a couple tweets. I've seen, magic weaving is apparently going to be a thing. So we're really just going to have to see. And let's go ahead and get started.
Joined by designers. Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to the designer stream. I'm Hephaestus, or Cam. We are joined by Carl over here, art director. Game director is Artie over there in the chat, and Ratbeard as well.
Can't see me.
Okay, so I want to take a look at Ratbeard's background here. I don't know if this is just a background he pulled off the internet, or if this is an actual zone that we're going to be seeing with Selenopolis, but that looks cool. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, Claire. Hello.
Yep, the design. Excited to talk to you today about magic weaving and some new spells. So let's start with the spells part.
Actually, can I say something really quick?
Of course.
I was asked to let everybody know about the tournaments this weekend. Now, Ratbeard, you may know about the details more. Like, is this weekend 2v2 tournaments?
Oh, they're doing TV.
There may be an experimental 2v2 tournament this weekend.
Yeah, so people looking for, get back to some team PVP. It's happening this weekend. Sorry, Cam, to harsh your groove. I just didn't want to forget. We were asked to kind of deliver that special message.
That's okay. Yeah. It looks like your guys' audio is not coming through. So I don't know why. Discord stream room.
They're saying on Twitch they can hear us.
Oh, they can.
Can you guys hear us on YouTube?
It was just
It's this weekend. If you're looking for, check it out.
Oh, spells, Carl.
Yeah. So everybody might kind of be surprised that there's spells this year. For those kind of longtime users, you might have suspected, usually when we end an arc, we have kind of a down year where we don't do new world or new spells. So yeah, that we kind of decided to not do that this year. So yeah, we have some new spells to show, and this is going to be for an area called Selenopolis, and I hope y'all really enjoy it. We had fun making them.
Yep. All right, and here we go.
Oh, we're going to take a look at some of these spells. Is that it? Balance spell, first off. Okay, so that's the Moon Chameleon. We've seen those before. Okay, a Lost Soul. Or no, that's just what he's casting it on. What am I looking at? Okay, so Chameleon. Alright. So 615 days. It doesn't look like they're going to actually show us the balance. It looks like they're just showing us the animations. This one's cool. Live streamed one. 665, pretty decent damage. If these are burst hits, I'm also fine with that. I don't know how many pips they cost, but I should be looking a little closer at that. Fire one did a bunch. Oh, my favorite. Okay, it's not going to show up. Love the detail on that one. Life spell. That's a heal, I guess. Interesting. What? Okay, I imagine that's a double hit. Stormman, last one. 975. Pretty good. Not bad. Like the animations.
Yeah,
A lot of good detail there.
That's it.
Yeah,
pretty
hopefully-
darn cool. Trees to be your new it's about weaving your school's magic with the magic of another school.
Interesting.
So, ever since your enrollment, Registrar Lincoln suggested to start training a secondary school. So now you take that one step further. And what you will do is you're going to select one of these trees to be your new trainer of your weaving school. And it cannot match your own school, but it will be your secondary school of some sort. And if you look closely in the teaser image, you can see there's a large tree behind the 7 of them. Carl, would you like to explain that?
Yeah, so these trees are part of what we're calling the blended grove. And the cool thing with the blended grove is instead of it just being like the old school Wizard City where you had each of the individual trees and their individual personalities, this actual area is based on a banyan tree. And if anybody knows anything about banyan trees, there's basically, it's a tree that grows out in the center and then it drops basically other roots from the air that turn into other tree trunks. So with this and the fact that it's magic weaving, we thought it'd be really cool to have all the trees kind of joined into one large tree. So there's the main banyan tree, and then each of the schools is actually a trunk of the banyan tree, and they are all mixed together and all part of one organism.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for players to actually see the blended grow. I think they're really gonna like it.
It's jaw dropping. It's very cool.
Interesting concept.
Of course, of these mini trunks, they all have their own personalities and stuff, and they're all really fun characters too. So, like the Ravenwood trees, these trees were created by Bartleby, and they reside in a place of magic. And this one, as he was saying, is one where magic is woven together, and they're going to teach you about how to do that. And if you know your lore, you also may recall that trees like these are also known for helping in creating new spells. So more on that later. With your tree, you are taken on a series of quests throughout the spiral that will teach you more about the lore of that magic school and how to weave your school with it. And these quests are in addition to the main story, Selenopolis, and the Selenopolis side quests. So these are additional quests from the update, which is one of a pretty big contributor into why this update is so large.
Okay.
It was a big update. Yeah, it's a big update for sure. So now that you know what it's all about, I'm going to show you some of the practical impacts of magic weaving. As you can see on this test character here, it is a life wizard who went into storm weaving, so they are known as an energy weaver.
Energy weaver. Okay, so I imagine there's going to be a bunch of different names for these. Energy, I imagine, life and storm, that makes sense. There's probably going to be a lot of speculation as to what the others are, but I like the look of this so far. It definitely seems kind of cool.
And so all 42 school permutations have a unique weaving name. This means a storm life is different than a life storm. There's also a new tab on your character page for magic weaving, and this will show all of the progress for your various weavings if you want to try more than one. This character is not yet rank 1, so he has a quest to do first. But
okay.
Yeah, so as you can see right here, there's a doodle there for if you haven't done it yet, and it says magic weaving available after Dragon Spot.
So I guess as you do the side quests as you go along with magic weaving, you can level up your weaving. Huh. Well, that seems neat. It's a little extra to do, but I'm fine with that. Seems cool, I guess. So can't really complain too much. Just the idea of sort of this official dual schooling type deal. I think it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting concept, and we'll just have to see how it goes.
So it is not a max content only thing. It's also for some players who aren't quite there at the end yet. So yeah, after you've defeated Malastare, you're going to be able to do some tutorial quests that will teach you a bit about Archmastery, the magic wheel, and kind of introduce you to.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it seems like it's a tie-in with Archmastery. So I'm glad that they're expanding on that. There hasn't really been much about that. So I think they realize that, and what they're going to do with these trees that we saw before, they're just going to these trees are probably going to teach you more about arch mastery than that tome and unicorn way ever could. So I think that's a really good addition, and I'm excited for it.
Afterwards, you can choose to either continue, weaving, or choose a weaving school, go through that quest, or of course go to Celestia. So we did take this opportunity to kind of smooth out that transition between.
I guess an important question would be, and they might answer this later, but an important question to ask here would be, can you switch weaving schools after you've chosen one? Because something that might be useful in Arc 2, like where my budget walk character is, like my budget walk character is in the armpit of Azteca right now. If I can like do what Nathaniel, one of my chatters, does and dual school into Storm to fix my horrific damage problem, then that would be really great. But I don't think I would want to dual school into Storm and Max. I think I would want to dual school into, let's say, Fire if I was doing PvP, so that way I could have my Fire Elves, my Elephants, that type of deal, do some more damage. So that's a question that I'm interested in hearing the answer to, but we'll see if they answer that.
Dragonspire and Celestia, because it's a bit jarring right now, with some quests seemingly to have been missing from there. When you arrive in the Blended Grove, you'll have the option to begin weaving. It is not required, completely optional. And after you reach rank 1 in the weaving of your choice, you'll continue your questing and then get called back for rank 2 after you finish Celestia, and then rank 3 after you finish Safaria, and so forth. So after every world, you'll be able to increase. With the launch of the system, we're starting with 3 weaving ranks, but we're planning to be adding an additional rank each year. So now let's talk about what kind of rewards might you be looking to get from this. So while you're ranking up, you'll get some useful rewards that will help you in dual schooling. Each rank will give you a different reward depending on which school you've chosen. You might get some special jewel, perhaps.
Oh.
That can help you with your stats.
So I've seen this a little bit before. They tried doing this a bit ago, I think in some summer test realm, but now it looks like they're actually going through with it, and I think it looks cool. I mean, level 100 plus for the 6% piercing jewels as usual, and then life school only, but storm magic weaving only. Okay, so that makes it a little more restrictive. Kind of like the idea, but again, I really hope that they do answer the question of, can you switch your weaving school? I hope that's something that they get to at some point. But these jewels are something, these have been a widely requested feature forever, and it's like a big problem in PvP at the moment is it's like you can't really effectively dual school. So having these, I think, is going to really help with that. And I mean, I've said it a bunch already, but I'm excited for it.
For your character, you might get a new spell that could help in your training.
So they've experimented with this as well. They've done the 0 pip 20% dual blades, but these are 2 pips, but they give some slightly stronger values. And I like this especially for PvE, and I don't mean PvE and PvP. I hate it for that. But for actual PvE, this is an extra buff that you could use, and it's a stronger buff than that of a Tri-Blade. So this I could definitely see finding its way into my Ice's deck for my budget walkthrough character, provided I don't finish Chrysalis before this update drops. But you get the idea. It's like it's a really, really good change, and I think this is gonna really help Ice as well as every school, but Ice in particular, just because of the damage that our low damage output. So it's an extra buff. I like how it's looking.
And you might get something else, which we're going to be talking about.
Okay, so it looks like that's just the exact same card, just grayed out. Placeholder is my guess.
Next Friday. So stay tuned for that.
Next Friday, okay.
And one thing important to mention is that unlike your primary school, your weaving choice is not permanent. So you can switch it at any time by talking to the trees, or you can also remove it altogether and go back to being just one school if you'd like.
Good.
If you do this, these spells will be untrained, and you can no longer craft or equip these jewels and such. So that is all the information on the system right now. But before we take your questions, I have a question for Artie or Ratbeard here, which is why dual schooling? We've got school pips and pins and now weaving. So if you could explain a bit as to why we chose this direction.
Okay.
On the spot.
Well, so it was one of Wizard's kind of interesting characteristics is that I was trying to kind of mix a traditional RPG role-playing game and then also merge it with a CCG collectible card game. And the collectible card game has a lot of fluidity with what your character can do, in a card game, whereas the RPG kind of locks you in a particular role. So how Wizard was originally, and as Cam mentioned, Lincoln mentioned it earlier also, is attempting to kind of mix those things. So what we wanted to do is just, I guess, make that, we'll flesh that out better than what it was. Like I was here around the beginning and I saw some of the...
Okay, so Corey in the chat makes a good point. If this can be sharpened to 55%, that is very cool, and I'm very excited for that.
Maybe some of the mistakes in retrospect that we made that kind of led it down a path that led it away from multi-schooling, really. And but I felt like while that is great for those who enjoy it, we also felt like there was some of that original interesting aspects that maybe getting lost, and we kind of wanted to revisit that. So that players can have a wider variety of spells to choose from, and kind of blend with their playstyle, and just makes for a more interesting and varied experience as they kind of adventure through the spiral. That is why.
Great. Rapier, do you have anything to add to that? Or
So, I mean, I think Artie did a good job. I just hopped the chat, and you know, a lot of folks feel like dual schooling is something new, and it's not really. It's been part of Wiz since the beginning. And I just, one of the things we noticed is that really with the introduction of power pips, players sort of stopped using school spells other than their own. So they often say, power pips killed dual schooling the way they did. It's not efficient anymore. And so that's why Wiz sort of lost its original design intent, which was to feel more like a CCG, and it starts to feel like a power activation game. And if you think about the way that you progress through the MMO content, most players, I think, play a very small deck. You know, they call it the 7-card deck. It's really collapsed down, and it stops feeling like I'm building a deck of cards to interact with the game in an interesting way, and starts feeling a lot more like I'm just going to click the powers in a certain order every single fight. And that is certainly a style of gameplay that we want to continue to support, and we will. It's brought us this far. But at the same time, if we can do things to sort of restore the original design intent of Wizard101, which was to feel like a card game, then we think we might be able to capture back some players who start with the game, see that vision realized, and then once they get their power pips, they see it start to fall off again. And so we just want to sort of capture as many players as we can, and bring back that textured play, counterplay, the idea of really caring about what's in your deck. Bring that back for players. So that's the vision.
Yeah, I don't know how many people you're going to get back with that, but it is a cool concept, and I like this idea.
Yeah, and the dual schooling, again, as Cam mentioned, Lincoln talks about it, picking a secondary school. It's all point with training points because you already get your school spells for free, so there's no other point for training points other than blending in other schools' magics. And then in Arc 1, maybe elsewhere, there was the attempt of creating gear that supported multi-schooling, but again, as been said, there were maybe some mistakes there along.
Yeah, there was some crafted gear. I noticed one thing, and that is there is a robe that you can craft in Celestia, I think if you're in Ice, and until the... I don't even know if... No, okay, it was when the demonic robe dropped this summer. That robe from Celestia, the crafted Celestia robe, for the Ice School only, gave more storm damage than any other robe in the game through till this summer with the demonic robe. And I think that's crazy, but obviously it didn't work for the reasons they've stated. Archmastery is a whole thing, and that kind of might have made that viable, but, the gear wasn't good for its own reasons, so interesting concept.
On the way that kind of undercut the viability of that, if my stat profile towards something that does more damage. And I can...
Okay, my phone hit something.
People would want to try them all or try a couple, or someone mentions help
as well, and so we decided to kind of try to see that vision through and correct some of the mistakes that may have been made along the way for that. I mean, certainly exploring the spiral and the cool stories and the lore and all that stuff is all good, and I think it's a lot of fun, even just the way it had progressed and evolved into. But at the same time, we were interested in trying to see through the original vision and see where it takes us.
One question I did see in chat was, would you consider adding dual school gear to early levels? And you might be surprised to learn it's already there. If you look at like Dragonspire, for instance, they have crafted sets there that are
yep
for dual schooling. So it has been part of it since the beginning. So it's kind of
right. And right.
Did either of you see any good questions as we were presenting there?
Sure did.
Yeah?
And you might have covered some of them as you're going. Mostly I was just trying to sort of bat away the questions and say, let Cam finish his presentation. But I think the first question that I noticed is people want to know if the choice is permanent or if you can, how's that work exactly?
Right, so you can switch at any time. Like I said, you'll lose the spell that you learned in the previous one, but your progression stays if you want to go back to it. We tried to make that transition relatively easy because we knew some people would want to try them all or try a couple, or someone mentioned help a friend in their weaving school if they wanted to. So
does that cost crown to switch?
No.
And does it cost training points to train the spells?
It does cost training points. You'll get them refunded when you switch.
Cool. So, I mean, one of the things, let me ask this question. I'm not sure if you did answer it or could answer it. So be careful in answering it. But, how exactly do I go about gaining levels in my secondary school? Is that what you're calling it, secondary school?
Weaving school. Yeah.
Weaving school. How do I go about gaining levels in that?
Right, so there's a quest. I would say that the system is most like is crafting, where it's just, you do some task in crafting, a quest, and then you gain a badge, and now you're the next rank in that. So it's quest-based, quest and badge-based versus experience and levels. So that is how.
One of the things that I was pointing out early on in Cam's concepting of this, and especially as I saw the script come through for the various quests, is that I think a lot of people are going to want to try all of the schools because Yeah, because and there's cool lore there, and there's cool characters. They're all different quest chains. And so, granted, most people don't like the side quest, but if you are a lore hound or a person who likes the side quest, then you could just go back and reset, take a different choice every single time, and so you could see all of the content for all of those things together. And I was really struck with the way the job the writing team did on sort of making the stories themselves weave together as well in interesting ways. So, for folks who are may not be interested in the system, but are interested in the content itself, there's a lot to do there. You're basically getting 7 times as much content as maybe the gearheads who know exactly what they're going to dip into right away. So, if you want to try all of them, you certainly can.
Well, that's a good point too. Is like early in the concepting of the system, it was really important that this be a way that players can further explore the lore of the spiral, and so it was really important for us that that these be interesting, storylines basically, and that even if you're not necessarily interested in multi-schooling or any of that sort of thing, if you're interested in the lore of the spiral, the content is created in a similar fashion to what your world content is built, and then it explores the lore of the spiral in all new and different ways. So even if you're not interested in that portion of it, the dual school portion of it, if you're interested in the lore or you want more of that, then this should satisfy.
Yeah, I saw a question come up a couple times, and I knew we would get this question, which was, do you get power pips with your second school? Not automatically like a mastery. Not automatically. We had discussed that, but we ultimately decided that Arch Mastery is really the system that, and school pips is really the system that supports that. So if you're in PvE, for example, you just set your school pip to your weaving school, and then you'll have basically you'll have mastery to that school.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think automatically giving power pips would be a little busted, especially with Arch Mastery. So I think Arch Mastery was sort of the precursor to this, and I think it's the best way to go about it.
So that's what we're intending to leave on there.
Are we doing anything different with Arch Mastery in this update?
No.
Well, that's not entirely true.
What are you talking
What
about?
do you
The tutorial?
Oh, the tutorial.
Yeah, there's a nice bit of onboarding for Arch Mastery because I just played through it myself yesterday.
I gotcha.
I'm getting a chance to go in and play test the hard work of the team, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. So shout out to Calamity, probably, I think, who put that together. So those who are asking for us to onboard our systems better, we hear you, and we are going to do that. As we can, we'll start onboarding more systems.
Yes. Someone earlier was asking, hey, is every combination spell a blade? And no, that's the spell that you get is helpful for that school and like you're pairing with that school. So they won't all be blades. They'll be different.
Right. It'll be influenced by the identity of the school's magic.
Right.
That's always a rich topic to dive into. Do you want to talk about what identity means?
Well, yeah, we can. Because we also are going to be more formally introducing the magic wheel concept, which it's not a new construct for RPGs or CCGs or anything. It's really kind of trying to define the relationships of different effects and which types of magic own different effects and how they interact. So that as a player, when I'm going into an encounter, I can infer some of what this encounter might involve based on the school of the opponent or the primary school and the weave school of the opponent. And so the identity of a wizard comes from a combination of the chosen school, which does have a purpose because it sets your stat profile, right? So like ice and life wizards are more survivable, fire and storm wizards do more damage. So that in that way, that sort of sets the foundation of your wizard's identity individually. And then the magic you decide to use is, complements that. And so, but as an ice wizard, I may decide to move into storm to be more, and then use my gear to kind of shift my stat profile towards something that does more damage. And I could go into storm, who owns blades, and that would help me accelerate better. Or I could move into life or death or something, and specialize more in the tanking aspects of ice. But a damaging ice is never going to outdamage a storm, and a tanky storm is never going to outtank an ice. And so, to an extent, there's a spectrum within your chosen school, and that is a combination of the stats you decide to outfit yourself with, and the spells you decide to equip. And so, really, the magic has its own identity, and then your character has an identity, and between the two, you get the wizard's identity. I'm not sure if that ramble actually explains anything, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. Like there is something that all white ice wizards have in common. And again, an ice fire is different than a fire ice. So your primary school still does mean a lot in terms of how your stats are. And there are still some exclusive spells. And as you, I don't know if you mentioned today, but you get, if you're an ice, you get all ice spells for free. You don't need to pay training points.
Right. And so and the way that we balance stats, we do see that an ice wizard should be encouraged to use ice spells and things like that. But that's sort of was the unique quality of Wizard, where it was attempting to merge the free-form power assembly of a CCG with the traditional role or RPG. And so, but for us, it's the Wizard's identity is a blending of the two. And we're not like a normal RPG where you're just, you're kind of restricted into whatever class you pick. To a certain extent, your abilities are limited because of your stat profile. But other than that, for the most part, we wanted you to be able to experiment.
Got a great question, Carl.
Oh, okay.
They want to know if the concept of magic weaving or blended schools is going to be brought forward in cosmetics in any way. Not necessarily now.
Yeah, right now, get on it. Yeah, I don't see why not. From a technical, this is going to be kind of a boring answer from a technical, how we would make gear and things like that. We would have to think about it a little bit because obviously there's going to be lots of permutations and combinations, right?
Yeah, so you have to do 42. Yeah, so
right.
it'd be
so it'd have to be something we do with what we call the sticker system here. So it is possible, but it would be more difficult than probably doing a normal set of gear. But I don't see if the players really want it. I don't see why you couldn't.
Or if you made like 7 like bases and then like 7 FX and then
Yeah,
kind of pair
they can pair them up. So it's, I mean,
that.
sure. I mean, definitely, like I said, it's always one of those things where if we get plenty of player feedback where this is something that's truly desired, I think we actually have a pretty good track record.
Hey,
I was wondering, you said it starts at level right after Dragonspire.
yes.
How do you see this being integrated into the normal mainline experience for this update and moving forward?
So yeah, so
I
you'll
personally don't.
after Dragonspire is your rank 1 of it, but then as you quest after each world you complete, you're able to get one more weaving rank in the tree of your weave, tree of your weave, I guess. We'll give you a hey come back kind of message.
The way I see things, I don't think magic weaving is gonna revolutionize the game in any way. I think what it's gonna do, and this is how I'm seeing it, but what it's gonna do is it's gonna seem like a cool system, but ultimately people are always going to fall back on their own primary school because that is the school that they have damage for. That's the school they've already got stats in and that type of deal, and that's they're just gonna fall back on, like, I don't know, Blade Frost Giant or that type of deal, and they'll still do the quests, these tree quests, so that way they can get maybe a dual blade or something like that, something that they could use. But that's about it. I don't really see much coming to that. So it's a neat little system, but I think ultimately it's going to be an add-on at best to the experience we all already know and play through.
And then you can kind of do it as often as you'd like, but the content is made for that level, the level that you are, and so you're able to kind of increase as you increase. So you're kind of leveling up your main and your weaving at the same time.
How many levels were we starting with?
3. We are starting with rank 3. So and the reason for doing that will become, I guess, the most clear after next stream. But there's 3 main reward types, and you'll get 1 per rank, and different weaving schools get it at different times. So we wanted to start with 3 so that all of the schools got all of the reward types. And we also felt that it was a good chunk of lore as well, because we didn't really want to start with 1, and obviously we couldn't start with 100. So it's just it felt like a sweet spot for multiple ways. Yes. What do you do when you weave with balance? What do you do when you weave with balance? That was a tough nut to crack. I think we came up with some cool ideas for balance weaving. Oh no, Artie was like, nope, balance, I'm out. Oh, no. It's a sore subject for Artie. You can wait and see. I think what we did is good. But yes, balance. Balance is also not irrelevant to magic weaving in general. You'll see more about that when you play through on Test Realm.
I think I saw a question of like, how do you think weaving will impact the current PvE experience? It'll impact it as much as the person wants it to. If you find it useful, you'll use it. But like we said, it's optional. It's for it'll help in advanced content, so like challenge things or raiding or PvP and stuff like that. But for normal adventuring, if you want to integrate it, you can. But it's just something fun to do.
Yeah, it can be as much as running 50-50 both spells, or you could just not do it at all if you like questing the way you do now. So, but would encourage, as Rapid was saying earlier, the lore part of it is also interesting. That could be fun if you're not interested in the specific combat parts.
I stream in the mornings, so folks aren't aware I do stream on Twitch in the mornings. I play through the game, and usually when I'm playing, I think I play like most of our players, only maybe dumber. But I'm really kind of just using this sort of traditional 7-card deck. I want to just sort of beat the mobs as fast as I can, so my play experience wouldn't really be impacted by this. However, having had an opportunity to play some of the high level content that's coming, I've really enjoyed having a deck with more cards in it, and so when the time is right for me to do that, to want to sort of have the play and counterplay, I really enjoy that too. So I may be sort of someone who's on the fence about this. Sometimes I think I'll use it, sometimes I won't use it. It depends on whether what I'm in the game for at that particular moment. If I'm in the game to say power level to the top, or if I'm in the game to farm a certain boss or whatever, I'll probably stick to what works for that time. But when I have the luxury of playing and wanting to have my brain a little more engaged in the combats than our typical combat does, then I'll absolutely be looking to move more spells into the deck, especially if they complement my main school, especially if I've got art transfer going. I'll set it to I play death usually, but I'll set it to death and probably storm. Right, so I'll dip into both and see how that goes. So I'm excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was asking if they have passed the content already, can they go back and do the questions? Yeah, you can. You just go to the Grove and pick the school you want.
Yes. Oh, and in test, you will have to do the quests that we put in between Dragonspire and Celestia. They'll be available to you, but the tutorials after the tutorials is when you can start weaving. So look out for that. There should be a tutorial tip for that as well. Somebody asked, are we able to weave into Shadow or Astral schools? Not planning on that right now. I think the setup we have is pretty cool, but
can't lie.
I guess anything's possible in the future. Never say never.
Weaving into Moon.
What else do you want to know?
I see a question that if you switch schools, do you lose progress on the school you switch from? And no.
Nope.
You'll retain the progress you made.
Yes. Yes, so if you would like to, if you want to get to rank 3, which is the highest right now, if you want to get to rank 3 in all of them, you are able to do so. Of course, leaving out your own primary school. And in case it wasn't obvious, there are 7 quest lines, not 42. So if you go into fire as an ice or go into fire as a storm, it'll be the same quest. But maybe some slight variations, you'll see.
Hey, this is Spark from the Ether joining you all.
Hello.
Surprise! Oh, we have housework going on.
Surprise drill.
Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody watching. Thanks so much for joining us on Twitch and now YouTube. Yes, we are live on YouTube. In fact, according to my tracking right now, we have more fans on YouTube than Twitch. So go everybody on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoy this live stream and you especially enjoy us being on YouTube, please let us know and we'll keep doing this. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, and smash that like button.
And leave a comment down below.
But it's always like smash that like button, give a thumbs up, and subscribe.
We're pros.
Never got to say that before.
Okay.
Great. So yeah, this update is
It's packed.
it's significant. It's big time. So
Yeah, I'll look at the
really
spells.
excited. All the stuff is really cool. I really like the spell cinematics.
Oh yeah, we can play that one more time as when we end if you'd like.
And just for to kind of summarize what we're talking about is magic weaving, where you have the opportunity to blend another school's magic with your primary school's magic, and you can only weave with one school at a time. And you can switch whenever you want. And there's really interesting storylines for each of the different options for your school.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Yeah.
Can you get to rank 3 without being max level? Yes, you can get to rank 3 as long as you finish Safaria. So as you're going through, and like when rank 4 comes out, that would be Avalon. Anyway, so it is available to more than just end of content players.
Right, like it starts Dragon's Fire. At the end of each world, you have the opportunity to earn another rank as you go.
Yes, I imagine it'll be a lot of wiki work, Court.
Oh yeah, and just for others that didn't know, we do have a lot of spells this update.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I mean, in our early brainstorm sessions, I remember sitting around thinking, how can we make 42 times as much work for the wiki masters? So
And the art team.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this explains 42 of them at least. So the others you'll have to see.
Show this,
Yeah, and next week we have, and this isn't all, folks. Next week we have some other cool system coming to talk to you guys about too. So
Yeah, I know there's lots of teasers and stuff coming up on the schedule. So
yeah, I mean,
gotta stay tuned.
Yeah.
Cool stuff will be said and revealed.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have another stream at the same time next Friday.
Yes.
To go into something else that's super exciting.
Yes,
going on.
I'd explain this big question mark there.
Yeah.
All right,
it is.
so I think that's it. We'll show the new spell teaser one more time, and that'll be it. So thanks everybody for joining.
Yeah, thanks
See you
everyone.
next week.
Well, how about that? Or wait, are they gonna play the spells again? Let me go to the ice school. just so I can pause on this, because that looks so cool. That looks so cool. So yeah, I mean this is going to be an interesting update. That is for sure. Very excited for it. And yeah, I mean the spells. If I had to guess, I would say that their burst damage hits, like 6 pip type deals with like four regular pips and then a school pip. So that's going to be very good. I can see myself using this a lot on my ice and PvP, just because ice doesn't really have a 6 pip hit right now that does actual damage. So this will be cool, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what magic weaving brings with it. I'm excited to see what else is going on with like the 100 spells. It's like we've seen 7 of them, and then I guess 8 with the energy blade, and presumably there's going to be stuff looking like that, like different dual blades for each school. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, I think for now, just want to say thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. And I will see y'all later.